Did the Old Testament sacrifices and the demands on those who performed them foreshadow a much more perfect sacrifice? How are we also to be living sacrifices? Let's look at Leviticus 22. Was the person offering the sacrifices to be healthy? The Lord told Moses to say to Aaron and his sons, "I'm the Lord God, and I demand that you honor my holy name by showing proper respect for the offerings brought to me by the people of Israel. If any of you are unclean when you accept an offering from me, I'll no longer let you serve as a priest. None of you may take part in the sacred meals while you have a skin disease or an infected penis, or after you've been near a dead body, or have had a flow of semen, or if you've touched an unclean creature of any sort, including an unclean person." How long did a priest's uncleanness last before he could eat of the holy things? The soul which has touched any such thing shall be unclean until evening, and shall not eat of the holy things, unless he wash his flesh with water, and when the sun is down he shall be clean, and shall afterward eat of the holy things, because it's his food. That which dies of itself, or is torn with beasts, he shall not eat to defile himself therewith. I'm the Lord. They shall therefore keep my ordinance, lest they bear sin for it, and die therefore, if they profane it. I, the Lord, do sanctify them. Could a layperson who's not a priest eat of the holy things? A layperson shall not eat of a holy thing. No foreign guest of the priest or hired worker shall eat of a holy thing. But if a priest buys a slave as his property for money, the slave may eat of it, and anyone born in his house may eat of his food. If a priest's daughter marries a layman, she shall not eat of the contribution of the holy things. What was the purpose of setting the priests apart from everyone else? But if the priest's daughter becomes widowed or divorced, has no children, and returns to her father's house, as in her youth, she may share her father's food, but no outsider may share it. If anyone eats a holy offering in error, he must add a fifth to its value, and give the holy offering to the priest. The priests must not profane the holy things the Israelites give to the Lord by letting the people eat their holy offerings and having them bear the penalty of restitution. For I'm Yahweh, who sets them apart. Of what did the offerings and burnt offerings and the freewill offerings consist? The Lord told Moses, "Tell Aaron, his sons, and all the Israelis that when a person from the house of Israel, or from the resident aliens living in Israel, brings his offering to the Lord as a whole burnt offering, whether in fulfillment of a promise or a freewill offerings, so that he'll be sure to be accepted, he's to offer a male without defect from the bulls, the lambs, and the goats. However, whatever has a defect is not to be offered, because it won't be acceptable for you." Of what did the peace offerings and the freewill offerings consist? And when a man brings a sacrifice of peace offerings near to Yahweh to fulfill a special vow or for a freewill offering of the herd or of the flock, it must be without blemish to be accepted. There shall be no defect in it. Those that are blind or fractured or maimed or have a running sore or eczema or scabs, you shall not bring near to Yahweh, nor make of them an offering by fire on the altar to Yahweh. Of what could the voluntary offerings consist, but not a vow? Now as for an ox or a lamb, which has an overgrown or stunted member, you may present it as a voluntary offering, but for a vow it will not be accepted. Also anything with its testicles squashed, crushed, torn off, or cut off, you shall not offer to the Lord, nor sacrifice in your land. Nor shall you offer any of these animals taken from the hand of a foreigner as the food of your God. For their deformities in them, they have an impairment. They'll not be accepted for you. Could a mother and her young be offered together? The Lord said to Moses, "When a calf, a lamb, or a goat is born, it's to remain with its mother for 7 days. From the 8th day on, it'll be acceptable as a food offering presented to the Lord. Don't slaughter a cow or a sheep and its young on the same day. When you sacrifice a thank offering to the Lord, sacrifice it in such a way that it'll be accepted on your behalf. It must be eaten that same day. Leave none of it till morning. I'm the Lord." How was God's name to be treated among the children of Israel? "Therefore you shall keep my commandments and perform them. I'm the Lord. You shall not profane my holy name, but I'll be hallowed among the children of Israel. I'm the Lord who sanctifies you, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I'm the Lord." What kind of sacrifice does God find acceptable for Christians? And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all He's done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind He'll find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship Him. How were all these sacrifices a forerunner of the greatest sacrifice of all? For such a high priest was fitting for us, holy, guiltless, undefiled, separated from sinners, and made higher than the heavens, who doesn't need, like those high priests, to offer up sacrifices daily, first for his own sins, and then for the sins of the people. For he did this once for all, when he offered up himself. For the law appoints men as high priests, who have weakness, but the word of the oath, which came after the law, appoints a son forever, who has been perfected. Did the Old Testament sacrifices and the demands on those who performed them foreshadow a much more perfect sacrifice? How are we also to be living sacrifices? You decide.